winner. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Let me just, I'm going to work on the Astrodoodle for a moment, so give me some time. I'll be right there soon. Keep going. I got more stuff to do. Give me a second here. Let's see how we're gonna do this. right, I think I can carry on from here. Hello, Winna. I'm glad you like the Hangouts. I don't talk all the time, but I like how you break down the astro. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm kind of proud of the way I do things myself. It's a little bit quirky, it looks a little bit homemade, you know, but some people prefer the sort of boutique-y, homemade look. You know, I know that I do. I'm probably, you might not even be aware, but I'm actually kind of an artist and writer and musician. And in my TarotLumination heyday, I used to do all these things like lucky draws and sort of people who would win readings, and I would really promote all my artwork and things like that. And I have a Zazzle store, if you can imagine that. Anyway, let me just say hello. Hello, Path. What you doing? Well, I felt compelled to hang out because there's a ton of stuff going on that is really bringing me a sense of joy. Now, the stuff that I'm talking about it's extremely disturbing, but the beauty of it is all to do with Saturn in Pisces, about how you've got to reveal it to heal it. And it's just, the revealing is happening right now. And as you know, Saturn, if you look at it on the global chart, there's Saturn in Pisces in the 12th house. So it's a very, very difficult transit. And it affects everybody in different ways. But on a global scale, in my perspective, the way I do astrology, on a global scale, it's about how the sickness of people is being revealed, all the way from the very bottom to the very, very top. And frankly, the most disturbing things are at the very top. I'm going to come to that in a minute because I've got a little list here, you know. I got this, and I wanted to share it. And it's very, very sick, disturbing stuff that could make you boil over with anger and rage, uncontrollable rage, which is, I actually felt that for a few minutes, and then I realized, you know, this is pure joy for me, because when I see my own, let's say, opinions or concepts or perceptions being validated live in real time, according to predictions from months ago, it makes me feel like, wow, I kind of know what I'm doing. And my people might not like it. They might be a little scared, and it's very contrarian. But that's how it is. Hello, Incognito. Hello, Path. Hello, Winna. Thank you, Winna. I really appreciate that. So, I don't know about you guys, but over the last few days, I really enjoyed that big, fat, grand trine in the water signs. It was a Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer thing going on. And for some reason, it made me very, very sensitive in here, but it allowed me to feel very comfortable with my sensitivity, you know? Like if I was talking in a, counseling or therapy session, or that's the sort of language that I always use. I was comfortable with my sensitivity. Yes. Anyway, I don't want to be here too long tonight. I just wanted to share these things with you. So I'm just going to go straight to the charts for a moment, first of all. So you've seen this big fat, this is actually a different T-square. The T-square we were dealing with for so long was the opposition between Pluto and Mars over here for months, many weeks, which of course we predicted would translate into a massive increase of violence and war all across the world. Explosive, random, highly volatile violence. And of course that's what we've seen everywhere. And it's getting quite scary, especially for if you're in an actual war zone. I mean, just look at what's happening in France over the last few days with the riots. 40,000 people rioting, and it's still going on. 40,000 cops trying to keep the riots under control. It's that bad. I mean, I don't really know where to start. There is so much going on, which makes me feel like, well, again, I told you so. So at the moment, we've got this big, fat, very fleeting, of course, with the moon here, it's a very quick transit, but it is opposing Uranus right now, and it's hard squaring with Mars and Venus over here in Leo. So I feel that this is, again, very much associated with the global financial crisis that was, let's say, brought into the world headlines on those eclipses several months ago. And now here we are today. It's live, it's real time. Inflation is insane. It's happening all across the world. And you can track it all back to these deliberate policies by the people at the very top of the pyramid of wealth, power, money, and control. I've actually demonetized this video tonight because I can't afford to get into trouble. I just had more warnings and more strikes and more deletions. And so, I don't know why they keep attacking me. My stuff is based on truth. All I'm doing is speaking truth, and I'm just sharing opinions, facts, information. And those censors, they just don't like me. There are plenty of sources all over YouTube which correlate with everything that I'm talking about here. So why do they pick on me? I don't get it. But they do. Anyway, let me just run through this T-square here. Looks to me like extreme hostility and violence and disruption in the global financial crisis. And for example, today, Mayor Adams in New York had a face-off with a little old lady who was exercising her right to freedom of speech to speak on behalf of thousands of renters in New York City who are desperate, absolutely desperate, beyond anything they've known before because of rent increases by landlords. Okay? And when she put her questions to Mayor Adams responded by saying, "Don't you point at me. You have to respect me. I'm the mayor. I deserve the respect that I deserve. So you need to give it to me." Okay? And he didn't answer any questions. It was ridiculous to witness. Absolutely ludicrous to witness. Fierce resistance and, let's say, extreme volatile responses and reactions to the global financial crisis as planned, triggered, managed, organized by the elites at the very top. You have to understand all this financial pressure that's creating what we see as poverty all across the world. It's deliberate. All of these policies are deliberate. Hello, Kaylee. Kaylee? Probably Kaylee or Kaylee? Kaylee. I'm just going to say Kaylee. So, and it's all part of their great plan. I should put another thing on my list here. Planned. I'm just going to mark it here because I want to mention something about Janet Ossebard. I'll come back to that in a minute. Anyway. So it's been very, very frothy for me. Everything really, really bubbling to the top. Like when you go to a soda fountain in a convenience store and they just all freshly loaded up with new CO2 cylinders, and you're loading up your monster pot of soda and it goes whoosh, it just goes everywhere. It's very, very frothy what's happening right now. So let me okay, quickly here. We've still got the trouble spots. Pluto here right on the cusp of Capricorn. That's not going to go away for a long time. Give it another year and a half, okay? We're going to have to deal with it. And it's going to translate into the being outed. All the elites who are expressing extremely toxic, unhealthy expressions of Pluto and Capricorn energy on the 29-degree mark. Of course, that's what's going to happen. And so we are witnessing it live in real time. All the evil agendas of the elites, all the way up to the BIS, the WEF, the WHO, the UN, the CDC, the FBI, CIA, all of it, it's being fully exposed. It's fully exposed now, because they don't have an option anymore. In order to complete their agenda, which is complete global takeover of the whole planet, not just a country or nation or a certain territory, the whole freaking planet. They want the whole planet. And that's competition with China, because China wants the whole planet. I'm not kidding. If you knew what's actually going on in the brains of the CCP and the PLA, you would understand that China literally wants all of it. They are going for all of it. But at the same time, there's a competitor, and they want all of it as well. So there's a power source here, and there's a power source here, and a power source here that are jockeying for positions in order how to take over the world completely and utterly. Again, going to the financials over here, I think it's July 1st, the United States Federal Reserve Bank is very quietly introducing the Fed Now, which is the precursor to the CBDCs, okay? Very disturbing stuff, okay? This is, in other words, the American version of very gently trying to induce the social credit score systems that they use in China to put you into financial tyranny, where the CCP controls you, the Chinese citizen, and they can shut off your finances, stop you traveling, stop you eating, stop you speaking, traveling, whatever. They can destroy you just by clicking a button if they don't like you, according to their algorithms that are measured on their phones. It's complete global tyranny on a scale that is just breathtaking. So, on a more modest energy level here, Saturn in Pisces, we just talked about that. This energy is going to go for 2.5 years. Well, 2 more years, okay? So, and there's going to be another retrograde period at some point. We're seeing it happening right now. The revealing, the great revealing, okay, of all the sickness and perversion and squalor, spiritual, emotional squalor happening around the earth. Now, at the very bottom of the socioeconomic pile, it's very obvious to see it. And it is a consequence of it's a direct mirror consequence of the squalor at the very top. In other words, they dump their squalor downwards. So, on a global scale, you've got about, with 8 billion people here, you've got about 2 billion people, mostly in these areas here, and here, a little bit over here, who live in absolute squalor and crippling poverty, filthy water, toxic foods, no utilities to speak of, very little hope in terms of life. It's just they live literally on the precipice of death every day, especially in these areas here, for example, and the Congo and over here. So, again, let's go to the other end of the spectrum at the very top. Now, this is where it gets interesting to me. Where do I start? Okay, I'm just going to come out with it here. I'll start over here with Janet Ossebart. If you have not heard of Janet Ossebart, you might want to Google her. But the quickest way to get to Janet Ossebart is through BitChute. Okay, I'm just going to share this with you. This was brought to my attention, I think it was last night. She has done an incredible job of documenting the journey from late 2019 up to where we are today in terms of how it all works with the cabal, with the Ashkenazi systems and the protocols of Zion, and how it all connects through this pyramid of power and control and a mind-boggling obsession for money, power, and control, and how it's propagated across the world through global media, global corporations, global banking systems, and global politics. She has a 27-part series on BitChute, and it is called Fall Cabal. Okay? So I'm just giving you this as information. It's a lot of material. I've digested all of it already because I keep up with every episode. And the latest one just came out. And it's almost like a summary of everything over the last 3 years. I think it's about a 27-minute video on BitChute. BitChute is a streaming channel, sort of like YouTube. So, and it's episode 27, okay? I highly recommend that you watch this thing. It'll give you a much better understanding of what we deal with and talk about on this channel. Okay, so anyway, let's go over here. On the 4th of July, there is an incredible movie coming out in the theaters. It's called Sound of Freedom. Okay? And oh, hello, West End. I didn't. Oh. I wasn't planning. I was going to do a private reading for you. I can be a little bit more. So West End, here's the thing. Sorry, I just, my eyes are focused here, but I have a monitor over there so I can see what the hell's going on with the show. And I just saw a West End show arrive, and I don't really want to do readings tonight. I'm just trying to get out what I have to get out because it's bubbling up inside of me like an over effervescent soda fountain machine. So, what I prefer to do, if you're okay with it, West End, I'd prefer to do a private recording, and I want to send it to you because it's going to be a little bit more substantial than your typical live reading, okay? I hope you're okay with that, and that's scheduled for tomorrow. All right, so The Sound of Freedom, very, very, very important. You can buy tickets now. It is a movie that's going to be absolutely heartbreaking and very disturbing because it is probably one of the most ultimate revelations of the extent of evil at the very, very top of the pyramids of power. I'm not talking about corruptions and evil in terms of power, money, control, politics, treason, blackmail, bribery, corruption, extortion, all the stuff that you see in global news all day, every day. Wars here, wars there, death, tragedies, not that. I'm talking about the sickest of the sick stuff. I'm talking about the pedos and the perverts and the child sex trafficking, okay? So this has been a while in the making, and it's a true story. Tim Ballard is the hero, and Tim is played by Jim Caviezel in the movie. And it is essentially a docudrama about the OUR, what do they call it? River. I forgot the words for it. OUR rescue. Anyway, it's a child rescue mission. I forgot what the words are. Overground rail, or something like the overground rescue something thing for kids. And they've rescued thousands of kids over the years, pulled them out of sex trafficking, sex slavery. But what you have to understand, it's very, very active even today. It's a massive industry, a massive market, and it's time that it is exposed. I mean, I don't know if some of you remember way back into the 80s when the first rounds of, let's say, sexuality that had become kind of tragic. started to become in the global conversation. In other words, the Catholic priests and the molestations, and then teachers and corporations and people who molest little children. And then there was the HIV scandals and everything. And the whole topic of the sad and sick parts of sexuality became less taboo. And so it's taken another, 43 years to get to the point where we are today, where we can talk about this stuff. Now, honestly, I don't know what's going to happen in social media, because once this movie gets out and it goes into theaters, it's going to be another step in terms of Wake Up America. Okay? Again, exposing the sickness in our so-called leaders. The next thing, which coincidentally is happening at the same time, is Mel Gibson is having his 4-part documentary being released very soon on the same subject, but he's focused more on a tighter window regarding the same tragic stuff in terms of child sex trafficking and child abuse that goes on in Hollywood. Okay? Because it's not a joke, folks. It's not a joke. I've been exposed to this stuff. I've seen it. I know what people do. I don't talk about it much because it's sick. It makes me feel sick in my stomach. Anyway, so to me, this coincides beautifully with the Saturn in Pisces retrograde. It's the revealing of the sickness and the disease. Some of the worst and most sick. It's like, I'm sorry, this is going to sound weird, but the things that make me even more sick are animal abuse. For some reason, I can understand the sickness of the people who perpetrate this evil. I can understand it because I'm a human person and they're human people, and I can understand it. But what I can't understand is animal abuse. And that makes me even more enraged. But that's another story. Here's another example of the revealing for the healing. In Congress, in White House, in the United States, in Washington, they have this thing called the House Senate Committee, and it is run by the conservatives, the patriots, the Republicans. And it's a very, very tough, small group of politicians who are doing everything they can to try and salvage the United States. And I think they're doing a really good job, considering they've got 99% of the rest of Washington against them. So what's happening is, you've probably heard about it, how Hunter is being outed completely and utterly outed, especially by FBI and IRS whistleblowers. And it isn't just, tax fines and a tax evasion and a few gun violations. It's massive fraud, corruption. You have to be careful with the words, but they're actually starting to use the word treason, the legal word for treason, not just conspiracy to whatever it is, seditious conspiracy, whatever it is, seditious. Anyway, the next step up, the highest level of crime would be treason. High treason against America. It is the worst of the worst, okay? Yeah, Hunter, I see your note there. Hunter got a deal. But the thing is, that deal is going to be meaningless soon, because James Comer, who's fronting this whole thing, he's got so much ammunition coming out from the whistleblowers inside the FBI and the IRS, real people who actually do their real job, and they are willing to go up against the evil people like Chris Wray and Merrick Garland. So right now, Merrick Garland is actively lying right into the camera in his attempts to cover up everything that's going on with Hunter and Joe. This is Merrick Garland, the Department of Justice, okay? He's the top cop in America, the top law person in the United States, and he's a complete commie, Marxist, sellout traitor, just as treasonous as Joe and his family. So it's all coming out. It's absolutely beautiful to see it coming out. You're not going to see it on mainstream news. Okay? You're just not. So you have to do your own research. But you don't have to look too far to find out. Here's another thing that made me very happy again today. See, all these things make me very happy. They're very ugly, disturbing, tragic, horrific things, but they make me very happy. Because it's the revealing for the healing. Once they're revealed, you can heal, you know? Yes, Path, it's being pushed. The communists, the Marxists, the whole administration that's supposedly running this country right now are desperate. They are absolutely desperate. All the traitors over here in Washington, they're desperate because they're getting outed all over the place. And it's impossible not to see it anymore. And the only reason you're not seeing it is because ABC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, Politico, New York Times, Washington thingies, and all of that, they're not reporting. They are just simply telling you to look the other way. Oh, look at that crazy submarine that just crashed. Oh, look over here. We've got aliens that are going to take over the world any minute now. Oh, look over here. Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are going to go into a cage fight. Oh, look over here. We have to save democracy over in Ukraine. Oh. That's all you're going to see. Okay? Distraction, distraction, distraction. Look over there, everybody. The real problem is right here. The enemy within. And our founding, the people who founded this country and the fighters who stood up for it and protected it knew this day would come. And it is here. So guess what? Here's another thing that really cheered me up. I put it on my Twitter and I put it on my Truth Social. I was watching these grid maps about colorations, basically red and blue, about the migration since about 2018, about how the coloration of the landmass of the United States is changing. If you think of red as, conservative patriot types, if you think of blue as hardcore lefty Marxists, left-winger types, about 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, there was a lot of blue over here, of course, all over here, of course, all over here, here, and here, little bits over here. And over the years, you could actually see it almost like a slow motion, like, what do they call it, like stop motion photography of a plant growing. And so today, right now today, pretty much the whole of the United States is bright red except for here, 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 and a couple places in here. And what does that tell you? It's basically what they call, it's very insulting, but the elites call all of this flyover country. Because the elites basically own this and they own this. And they don't care about anything in the middle. These are just useless eaters. So they fly from here to here and here to here, back and forth for business and bribery and corruption and money and power deals and all of that. And what these folks, the elites, are discovering is that, wow, we're trapped. Because the elites basically all live in cities and highly urbanized areas on the coastlines and a little bit up here. And the patriots live everywhere else. It's staggering to see this map. It's absolutely beautiful. And so what happens? What happens when you get a civil war? Okay, so they might have all the brains and the money and controls, but we got everything else. We got all the food. Okay? And you have to understand, anyway, I don't want to get too much trouble with this, but the idea is that studying those charts made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Really, really warm and fuzzy. Like it's not the end of the world. It sounds like it's the end of the world, but it isn't quite yet. Here's another thing that made me feel cheerful today. The Supreme Court knocked down the affirmative action thing that's been around for years, and they've turned it on its head. The affirmative action is now history regarding major U.S. colleges and universities. In other words, these colleges and universities are not allowed to filter their new entry students based on race, color, religion, sexuality. They're only allowed to consider academic merit. That's it. In other words, go back to the actual basics. Colleges, universities are basically teaching learning establishments. So it all depends on merit. So I was very happy to see that. Of course, a lot of people are really, really pissed off. They're going to say it's racist. Here's another thing that really, really cheered me up today. There was a New York Pride rally, I think it was yesterday, and they were caught on camera. They were chanting. A whole bunch of them were chanting here. Listen to this. It's on camera. You can search this yourself. They were saying, "We're here, we're queer, and we're coming for your children. We're here, we're queer, and we're coming for your children." All caught on camera. Okay? Of course, you know these folks are deeply connected with the bad people up here. Here's something, again, very sick, but it doesn't make sense, but it actually cheered me up because it basically proved my opinions and theories. The U.S. economy is in deep, deep doo-doo, okay? It's not just 2, 3, 5, 7, 8% inflation. It's in the 11, 12, 13, up to 17 rate. And yesterday, the utility bill here for electricity just went up 30%. Click, just like that. They just flipped a switch and increased it 30%. No explanations. The only explanations they gave was that, well, it's hard times in America now, and we were forced to raise our prices to cover ourselves over here. We're very sorry to have to put this on you. I guarantee it's price gouging. There's a monopoly. It's a cartel, like a lot of the utilities. I went up to the utility people today. I said, "Listen, this is not right. This is criminal. I want an explanation." And the lady said, "I can't explain it. You have to read the small print in your bill." And I said, "Well, can I just switch energy companies so I can get a better price?" And she said, "No." So I said, "Does that mean there's a cartel here? Does that mean there's a monopoly?" And she didn't say anything. And so I went, "Okay, I understand. You can't help me. It's not your fault. Goodbye." I left. So those are the things I just wanted to share. I had to get them out of me. There's an awful lot more going on. I wish I could share them all, but I don't want to take up the whole of your life. So let me go over here. Hey, West End, thanks for understanding. I'd rather do it in private. It gives me I have a lot more comfort, and I can kind of relax and really get deep into it. I'm going to wrap it up now. It's already late, and it's been a day. Okay, let's just say that. All right, so because the closeout delay on the channel, by the way, I'm not doing secret I'm not doing secret mantras or secret signals or anything. I'm not doing any of that stuff, folks, okay? I'm not doing those things, that they do with all the folks who are members of the Cabal. The mystical triangle, the all-seeing eye. I'm not doing that, okay? I have my own little mudras that I do for myself in private. Thank you very much. Anyway, so I am going to put this over here. Cheerio. Thank you for listening. I hope this helped you. I hope I lightened up your day a little bit. Oh, there was something else I wanted to mention. Hold on. That's right. We've got the full moon coming up, I believe, very soon. Okay? The moon is here right now in Scorpio, and then for a few days in Sagittarius, and then a couple day or so in Capricorn here too. And so on exactly, which day is it now? July the 3rd. Okay, next Monday, coming up Monday, in the United States, we're going to have the full moon. So the sun is going to be right here, and the moon is going to be right here, almost conjoined Pluto in Capricorn. So you can guarantee, I can guarantee there's going to be some very, very big stuff coming up in the news cycle for the United States, because this axis right here, I'm not going to draw it in, but we'll do it maybe on the day itself. This axis right here, when they get to the full moon, is very, very significant to the United States in terms of the United States birth chart, okay? So just giving you some heads up, okay? Mars and Venus will be just a little bit over here. This will be about the same, this will be about the same, this will be about the same. So the movement is going to be here, and of course the astro doodle will look completely different. And we will have this big, fat, red opposition thing marked right here. Okay? So be prepared for that. And also, again, mark your calendars for July 23rd. Okay? We got a few weeks to get there, because that's going to be a very, let's see, a landmark day for your calendar. All right? Thank you very much, everybody. I'm probably just going to play some music and leave it there. And I've got my new song coming up soon. I'll share that with you, hopefully by 4th of July. Let's see. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Keeping me waiting.